Alright, good morning. Welcome to commentary. So this is a video where I went out for I went out for a ride and met up with Charlie about halfway around. I'd done my efforts at the start of the ride and then met her and we went for a coffee afterwards. But this video is basically about guidelines for optimum intervals. So for a lot of people, especially the time crunch cyclist, interval training is the most bang for your buck way to train, rather than just doing slow, steady miles. But when we talk about optimum intervals, I really want to talk about something very particular indeed, and that is when to call it quits on your intervals and when to stop. So, is there a specific point that we can follow where we know that, okay, we're not getting any more of this workout? And I did quite a bit of research on it, also asking my coach and coming across a few websites. These questions have probably been asked by every cyclist and coach 1,000 times over, but there's no easy answer to all of them. So it depends on your goal for that particular workout. Obviously, your current level of fitness, and the big picture of how that session fits into your goals, and what you have for your training, and your own ability to dig deep and put out 110% effort. So since there's so many factors involved in making a decision about when to end an interval session, it's difficult to provide a precise guideline, and any guidelines put forth will likely not address all the issues. But I came across a table or chart that pretty much, I'll put it in the description as well. But I found when I was reading How to Train with Power, a book by Andrew Coogan and Hunter Allen, PhD. So you can buy the book on Amazon. You can buy it on online pretty easy. So they basically set out intervals and then the average drop in power next to it in percentage. So for example, a 20-minute interval, if your average power drops, okay, well let me explain a bit better, because it goes like quite into a lot of detail, so we want to break it down. So the percentage drop in average watts for your interval is based on the number of watts achieved in the third effort. So, for example, if you're doing a 20-minute effort, a 20-minute interval, a rider is ready to call it quits on his workout, or her workout, whoever it may be, when the average watts for the third interval, so if you're doing 6, for example, the third interval drops more than 3 to 5%. So you'd obviously have to do the calculation out on the road, but I like to do it. I like to write a lot of my things. If I'm doing a hard day of intervals, I like to write them on my stem, and then bang, 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 that's exactly the numbers I have to hold. And in particular, when I'm doing 3 or 5 minute intervals, I then write my drop-off figure. So what you tend to see is your drop-off figure. I know for my 5 minute, my drop-off figure is around 30 watts. So which is a lot of power, I mean, especially on the third effort. Especially, if you're doing 6, your third effort, mine seems to be kind of the strongest effort. The third effort is when you finally start to get into the ride or into the zone. Then you can really get the most out of yourself. But like we said earlier, it's down to the rider and how much they're willing to suffer and how much they're capable of getting out, because obviously everybody's different. So you have to remember that's based on the third effort. So some people obviously are different, and their third effort could be less than their first effort, but that's completely fine. You just take it from that third effort. So as we go further down the chart, or further up the chart, 20-minute effort is 3 to 5% drop. A 5-minute effort is a 5 to 7% drop. A 1-minute effort is a 10 to 12% drop. And 30-second effort, 12 to 15%. So they do allow like quite quite a margin there for, not for error, but for that drop in power, which is really good. You know, this is obviously training with power, but for anyone training with heart rate or for anything else, especially if you're doing a hill type interval, which is what the majority of my sessions are done on, you can apply the same kind of thing by, you know, marking where you're finishing every single time, or where you're finishing on the third effort. So if you're gauging it on heart rate and you want to ride, you know, you're pretty fresh, your heart rate will go up really quick, and you want to ride, you know, 4 or 5 minutes at 170 beats per minute, and you peg it right there, and, you know, you mark, not, you know, physically maybe, but mentally in your head, on the road, this is where I stop. You turn around, you come down the fourth effort. If you're, you know, marginally behind that line, don't worry about it. But when you start getting maybe 20, 30 seconds away from that line, I think it'll be time to call it quits on that effort. But like I said, that is usually the fourth or fifth repeat of the workout, which, to be fair, you've still gone, you know, fairly deep into the ride. So you can still give yourself a pat on the back, and it'll be a really good workout. A 15-second effort, it still gives you a power drop off by around 15 to 20%. But I wouldn't worry too much about that, you know, because a 15-second effort, you wouldn't do a lot of them, and, you know, they're purely sprinting efforts, and you can, unless you're doing, you know, more than 10 or more than 15, you know, it's starting to get really hard there. So you'd never have that many to do in the first place unless it was completely geared to, you know, a track sprinter or something like that. So that's what I wanted to clear up with this little video. I hope you enjoyed watching my ride. I know I didn't have a lot to show, but I just wanted to do this little quick commentary just to, you know, give people a little bit of a tip on when to stop intervals, because, you know, I had the same problem the other day. I didn't know if I was doing enough power to keep making the right improvements in the correct zones. So I thought I'd give you what I learned. So yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Give it a thumbs up and a like and share, of course, because a lot of people will probably get a lot of help from this. So yeah, I'll see you next time.